Hey everyone, welcome back to the Shale Pit. Well, when I got here today, this bird was right at the top of this spruce tree, just a singing the praises of spring. You can see how big that spruce tree was, probably about 30 feet tall. It's because it's right on the edge of the shale pit. So, I know where I'm heading today. I'm heading for that tree that we saw in the last video. Oftentimes when I see a tree in here, I'm thinking about it and wanting to go back and collect it. You can see there's just hundreds of little trees in here. Just like a nursery of little bonsai trees. So coming up here, I'm coming up on a birch tree that is pretty interesting looking and could be a subject of a collection. This one here, I might come back and collect this tree maybe next time. The birch trees really suffer from lichen in this area, and eventually that tree will die from the lichen on it. So that might be a good one to rescue. It's pretty interesting. It would be a multi-trunk tree, but it's got an interesting trunk going. So the Weather Service is calling our weather right now a extended rain event. And it rained all last night, and this is early morning, and it's not supposed to start raining till about 10, but we are predicted to have 5 days straight of rain, and that makes it an amazing time to collect trees because they're just full of water and have a great chance at survival. So here's the tree. It's the same one we looked at in the last video. So I decided on this one I would go ahead and trim all the lower branches off. Most of them were dead branches. Mainly so I can get a good grip on it to start to pull it out. This tree has definitely been here a while, probably in the 25-year range. I know a lot of these bigger trees in here are about 25 years old because that's when all the activity stopped in this pit. When they stopped excavating and dump trucks coming in and out. So I decided to get this one all cleaned up on the bottom of it before I tried to pull it out. Something definitely happened to this tree when it was young, because it's got quite a crook in it down low. It could be that it got completely broken off by something. Could have been here when the excavation was going on and got broken off, because it looks like that it sprouted a new apex there and grew up into what the tree is now. So I'm just giving it a wiggle to see how hard it's going to be to get out. one of the benefits of all the rain right now is it makes the the ground easier to get them out. It just all around makes it a great time to collect trees. So since none of these trees have a tap root, they all have runner roots that can run even like 10 feet away from the tree. So I can always see the shale moving when I pull on the tree. And I usually go around and try to find those runner roots and pull them out individually, try to get as much of them as I can. Just tugging on the tree reveals where they are. And eventually I'll start to cut them off because there's no reason for them to be more than about 2 feet long. A little crowbar works good to pull them up out of the ground. And once I locate where a big runner root is, then I can get a hold of it and get it up high enough to cut it off. So I'll do that all the way around the tree. It's one of the reasons they make such ideal bonsai trees, because they're all lateral growing roots. So they're just natural trees to put into a shallow box or pot. So I want to make sure I get all those runner roots cut before I try to pull it out. Sometimes they just break off like that. So I can tell this one's about ready. And there she goes. There's our tree out of the ground. This green tub has been a great thing for collecting trees. It keeps the roots nice and moist. Just a little water in there. Always pick up all your tools. I have gotten excited before and left tools and had to go back and find them. So I've tried to break that habit. And there's your happy Yamadori man. Alright, so back home in the greenhouse. I'm pretty sure this tree is going to do just fine because that's a beautiful bunch of roots on it. And with all the rain, it just makes survival very likely when it's as wet as it is. So I'm getting the rest of the lower limbs trimmed up on it. As usual, I'm kind of thinking I might keep that one, but it obviously needs to go from this angle. And I will cut it off here in a minute. But they always have quite a bit of dead wood on them. So that's got her all trimmed up. So this was a box that I had sitting around. Get a layer of soil in the bottom. It's a good idea to keep as many roots as you can on these trees. It looked like a root, but that was actually another little plant that was in there. So I'll just try to tuck all the roots in. So this tree, it ended up leaning a little bit away from the camera at this point, and I was starting to see that. So the way to fix that was for me to put pressure on the side the camera's on, and because this is definitely the time you want to really look at that and get them straight or get them the way you want them. But I could see that I needed it to tilt towards the camera a little bit, so I started putting more pressure on the camera side. Sometimes to get it to tilt, you need to pull it up a little bit and then put pressure on one side. So that little action there got it basically where I wanted it in the box. Since this tree is going to stay in this box for at least a year, it's really important to get it like I want it, or else every time I look at it, I'll regret that I didn't get it straight when I planted it. That's something I've learned from doing them. This is the time to get them like you want them. As usual, I'll get this tree mossed up. With all the rain we're having, the moss will just be beautiful all spring here. Things are very wet right now. We're forecast to not even have any sun for the next 5 days, just clouds and rain. So there might be a few trips to the shale pit because it is the best time to collect them when it's wet. So all that's left is to give her a big drink. So it is supposed to start raining again in a couple of hours, so this tree is definitely going to go out on a bench and will enjoy rain for the rest of the day. So here's the tree. So you can see that something definitely happened to this tree. It either got bent right there or completely broken off and a new sprout made the apex on it. So I hope everyone's having a great bonsai day, and I'll see you next time on Bonsai by the Sea.